It's February 2023, and we're talking about the Commander cards that are most worth buying right now.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, and we're bringing you new videos every single day of every single week of every single month, and you can count on us to be there in 30 years when you're having dinner with your family. This is the best way to support us, patreon.com. That's the way we want you to do it. You go to Patreon, you pick your favorite perk. In a couple months, we send you some merch, and then you feel great about yourself, and you can come back knowing that now the channel's even better.
And you want facts? Patreon is a great way to support us. But you know who's helping to pay the bills? IntoTheAM. They are the most amazing shirt apparel brand out there. Seriously, we get the compliments on our shirts every time we go out. We go to a Magic event, cool shirt. Where'd you get it? IntoTheAM. Use our affiliate link in the description. That's what we say in person, because that's how weird we are.
We want you to save 10% because that's what happens when you use the link. I guarantee you I will bring at least 3 IntoTheAM shirts to Philly, and I will get complimented on every single one because we're always interacting with people. Probably see more interaction at a Magic event than most people do in their entire lives, right? That's just people coming up to us nonstop. So we're going to get a ton of compliments, and that could be you, stranger, watching this.
Yes, in fact, they're going to compliment me on my brown green camping bear shirt.
I think that was inspired by Brother Bear.
Yeah, it was inspired by Brother Bear, and now the new movie Cocaine Bear.
Oh, is that?
That's a movie.
That's canon?
That's legitimately a movie coming out. Yep.
By Disney?
Disney.
Was that DreamWorks or Disney?
Yeah, DreamWorks is doing.
DreamWorks is doing it.
Is doing Cocaine Bear.
I have the astronaut holding a melting Earth. That's very symbolic of today's social climate.
Yeah, and they have a couple others. They have Kamigawa, that's not actually Kamigawa's shirt, and going with that, Shades Not Included, that is actually not Shades Not Included.
Yes.
These are not actual Magic shirts, to be clear.
Directly not inspired by Kamigawa and directly not inspired by the Secret Lair Shades Not Included. I think you should go onto that site, save 10% with our link, and get yourself some not Secret Lair, not Kamigawa, official IntoTheAM TM shirts.
Yes, IntoTheAM is honestly amazing. Let's hop into this video because this is the cards most worth buying this month. And now for these are, you have a deck that could potentially want these cards. They're worth getting to put in that deck because of how strong they will perform in said deck. This is not speculation. We're not telling you buy 20 of this card because it will go up in the future. That's not what we do here. We're never trying to do that. We're not speculators. We're simply saying this is where this price is. This card is X dollars powerful.
It's 100% worth buying at the price, and in a lot of cases, we feel like we're getting a steal. Like with this first one, whose name is Yawgmoth Thran Physician. It's one of just the best black creatures, period, in the entire format.
Oh, yeah.
And it's $21 because they got reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. It was $40 in November. I still would have told you to pick up a copy for every black sack deck you have, and now it's $21.
Yeah, and this one, even though you did say black sack, this is one of those creatures that transcends its own archetype. It is a sacrifice card, like where you absolutely want to be. It shines. It's the best when you have a ton of creatures you can get rid of and just play. But this card is so good, it just transcends it. It ends up, it's in your Queen My Chesed deck. It's in my Zyra deck. Decks that aren't really making a ton of useless things, it doesn't matter because this card's so good. It just goes over the top of needing to be super synergistic.
It's removal, and then there's just some wombo combos that just make it so like, oh, I have a Belladros deck. Doesn't really make that many tokens. There's like Field of the Dead and Belladros, and then Yawgmoth's just amazing in that deck. And it's just like you have a Zyra deck, and Yawgmoth has a few wombo combos with like Generous Patron, which is absurd.
Yeah, it's super silly that like you get this. He already is a stupid, strong Magic card that just, does the -1 cards, draws, and then he just has this extra line of text that proliferates. So you get extra synergy out of this card that you would never expect to get, but it's there when you need it. It is the most gravy. If you're an old fan of the channel, you'll know the gravy boat has always been there. And it is an old meme, but something on a card that is extra, that doesn't really matter to its power, that's gravy, baby.
That's gravy. He works with like Liliana Dreadhorde General. You can just proliferate 3 times to win the game. I can't tell you to play Yawgmoth enough. I literally cannot do that.
At $21, especially, you're right. You can't tell him enough, but this card has halved itself in price, and it will go back up. This card is just that good. It got printed in a premium product. Sure, that was mass printed, but in a year, that product's not going to be around anymore. It'll go back up.
Oh, yeah. Now we got to go to the next card. Sarah's Emissaries, $3, and it's a 7-mana, 7/7 angel with flying, and you get to choose a type, a card type, and you and creatures you control have protection from the card type. This is for anyone who's ever considered playing Platinum Angel. A, don't. And B, this is the functional version of that.
Yeah, this card is a lower power card. I want to be clear. I think this is a combat meta card. If there's combos going on, if there's other stuff going on, I'm not playing this card, but I've just seen it perform so well in our combat-based meta where it hits the field and certain decks, more than others, will super struggle to get through this thing. It's such a... it's surprising how annoying it is when they name creature. It's like, can you not? Can you not name creature?
And it also is offensive as much as defensive because not only can you not take any combat damage, your creatures are unblockable. That's what protection from creatures means. You just get a free swing right now, and this still, I think, even transcends casual and stuff like Kalia, where you just go, okay, no, can't block my Kalia.
We can cheat in the play. Yeah, Kalia, but I feel like, honestly, even though Kalia can be a stupid strong deck, I still feel like that's such a casual commander.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's tough to make Kalia competitive, right? And maybe, but we could be wrong.
There's still like Master of Cruelties. You just win. You kill somebody.
That is a silly combo. Let's go on to the next one. One we've talked about in the past, but this card is still good and somehow has not gone up in price since the release of Modern Horizons 2. Imperial Recruiter was printed into Modern, down to $6, and it just keeps staying down. This card's incredible. I don't play it in decks because I find it so good it's boring. That's how I feel about tutors. Tutors are incredible. This is a great tutor. You take a strong tutor effect, put it on the creature, it's amazing. That's like, you just push it to the moon once you stick it on a creature.
Yeah, and let's not pretend this is low because people don't like tutors. See every other tutor in existence.
Very
like
fair.
This card is just not seeing play, and it's just amazing. So if you have creatures and you like tutors and you want to search for the better creatures, this card is an absolute staple.
Yeah, I think one of the things for a card like Imperial Recruiter that it stays low is the price in that set has to stay relatively reasonable because there's still boxes not for sale through Wizards but online. So there has to be a balance of like it's not worth it to buy a box still from somebody else and open it. That's how it always works with product, and I think that's what's keeping something like this low.
Because the set was so good.
It's because the set is so good because like Esper Sentinel's just holding $30 in value. That's a rare, and I think it's the same reason Dothy stays down too is because Esper Sentinel just at rare carries so much. Urza Saga that's carrying so much at rare. It's just, and all the fetch lands as well. Mm-hmm. There's so much value in that set. It keeps great Magic cards like this down.
Yes. So please get some Imperial Recruiters before you wake up a year from now and it's $12 and you go, darn it, BZ told me to buy it a year ago.
Exactly, because like we were just mentioning, these sets, they are still kind of like out there and people are getting them. It stops eventually. It has to stop, even though like people are selling and moving it, and there will be at year after year more of these products are open until there's less of it, and then these cards start. Whoop. All right, moving on from my whoop to World Tree. It's currently $5. This card is kind of silly good and an absolute staple of 5-color decks. I cannot see building a 5-color deck and not putting this in unless I was literally playing the highest power of CDH. That's the only way I could possibly see it. This card fixes you. It has another mode. It perfectly fixes you from a land slot. This is the playable Chromatic Lantern.
It really is. Chromatic Lantern, hang your head in shame. It's embarrassing to be seen next to the World Tree.
That was me doing
That was Chromatic Lantern.
It was Chromatic Lantern crying in shame because the World Tree is out there. And this is just a win con for some decks. If you play your God deck, it literally says put all your guys in the field, win the game, essentially.
I mean, if you play Maskwood Nexus, guess what? Put all your creatures into play.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what's so awesome about this card. It's just a good functional card that will fix you perfectly for the rest of the game as soon as you hit 6 lands in play. And then why not just win the game with its mode some of the time? Like, it doesn't have to win. It can win 1 out of 100 games. Still amazing.
I think the best part about it is that it's green when you don't have 6 lands. So, like, that's the main color you'd want it to be anyway. If you could only pick one in your 5-color deck, you probably want it to be green. So, like, turn 2, you can still cast Nature's Claim and stuff. I like the fact that this isn't, like, colorless.
Yes. This next one, I want to be so clear. I am going to push this card to the moon, and I have said it before, and I'll say it again. Every time we have a way of recycling these cards to talk about them, we like to wait at least 6 months so we're not spamming and telling the same cards. I will spam this card until it's at least $10 because you guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how many times we can say it. Druid of Purification is perhaps the best way to remove artifacts and enchantments in the entire format. This card is incredible.
Better than Rex Sage, I promise you.
It is so much better than Rex Sage. even if you play this and you choose one and then two of your opponents choose not to, you're telling me a third's not picking something? This card overperforms every time. I've played at tables where I was new to the table. I played it. I sat down at a table. I'm like, man, I don't really know how this play goes.
There's no prior, player interactions. They don't know each other. They don't know how they play.
Exactly. And this card was still amazing. It's weird because what it basically says is enter, you get to remove something for free. That always happens.
And it doesn't target.
It doesn't. Yeah.
So there's an upgrade over just regular Rex Sage. You're getting something. You can get around hexproof.
So stupid. That doesn't target. But then your opponent pick something. You basically say for free, would you like to cast a naturalize for free? There is no cost to you. What kind of silliness? And that naturalize can't hit your stuff.
Right. I keep seeing people think that Druid Purification is like some kind of voting card where every vote just gets destroyed. They can't choose your stuff. It can only ever benefit you. This card is like out of control, amazing. I will hype it until the day I die. Not until it's $10, but maybe until the EDH rec number goes up.
I will tell you this. I will, if this card is under $5 in 6 months, you will be hearing from us again.
Because it'll still be worth buying.
And we will still be yelling at you that what is going on? There's no way this card should be this low.
That's what you meant. I feel like it sounded to me like you were just trying to spike the price, but like, no, we want it to be worth as strong as it is, but either way, you could just take advantage of it being cheaper than its power level by just buying it at $3 because Druid is just off the chain. I've been arch enemy multiple times, and people still just blow up signets that aren't mine.
Moving on, a card we have mentioned before, but is still very good and still pretty low. Stinging Study. Draw X cards, lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among commanders you are playing. So
it's fair ad nauseam that requires no building round because you already started with your commander, then start putting cards in your deck, and oh hey, my commander costs 7, my commander costs 10, 8, 5. I'm going to play Stinging Study.
I don't know if I would ever describe this as Asnos, but I do understand what you were going for. It's lose life, it's draw cards, and you're going to have a high number in the decks you play this in. You play it when it is at least 5, because once it's 5 for 5 mana,
that's a lot.
It's a good rate at that point, and anything up from there is absolutely amazing.
Like comparing that to Blue Sun Zenith or something, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
And this card being an instant, it is so nice to pass. Leave up, you can leave up any other form of interaction you might have, and then turn gets back to you. All right, I'll put 6 fresh cards in my hand, untap, and now let's go wild.
Yeah, Stinging Study, just fantastic. You obviously have to be some kind of heavier commander deck. It's so easy to do. It's just basically like 40% of black commander decks just want this card.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Moving on, we have Rishkar's Expertise, currently $2, and a card that I think has been... it got reprinted recently, so I was playing between $1 and $2, and that's a weird area for us because budget bombs are under $1, and for most worth buying is at least $2. Rishkar's Expertise at $2 is 100% worth buying. This card is very good. It is an over-the-top big draw spell for your decks that play big powers, and then it lets you play a spell for free, which is amazing because after you draw 7 cards, what could be better than playing a 5-drop for free?
Yeah, you get up to 5 of the 6 mana back that you just spent. So how much do you value a draw X at? Even if it's only drawing 3, it's like you harmonize and then you go down to the fact that you only spent 1 mana on this harmonize. Like, this card is just great. Doesn't really ask much of you. Doesn't target or anything, so you can't get blown out. If you have 2 3/3s in play or 2 6/6s, you're drawing 6.
Yeah, and this card, it scales, which is what's so good about it. Most of the time, it's in the decks that you're playing it for, it's going to be draw 5, 6 on average. And then if in certain decks like Golta and other giant powered creatures like that,
it's just 12.
It's just draw 12. And sometimes it's even more ridiculous than that because in my Helena Elena deck, it's just draw 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 cards sometimes, and it's just a win from there because, how am I losing after I draw half my deck and then play the best card from half my deck onto the field right after that?
Oh, yeah. Rishkar's Expertise, I don't even think it needs an introduction, but if you didn't know that it's super worth buying, it's super worth buying. Just like the next card, Karlach, Fury of Avernus. We've talked about this a lot. Cherries especially loves this $3 card that says you get an extra combat when you attack, not when it attacks, and your creatures get first strike, and it's just like... so many words on the card, and we don't see words that are on extra combat enablers this cheap. It does so much, and it's only $3.
Yeah, and the fact that my thing about this is you are pretty much guaranteed to get the extra combat. Obviously, it can be removed. That is something that will happen some percentage of the time, and you'll get nothing. But So you know what else is going to happen some percentage of the time? It stays in the battlefield. So you're going to get that attack, get your free extra combat, still have this creature come back around your turn and do it again. Now with an extra 5/4 attacker to go along with it. The first strike on top of this is stellar because I think that's what moves it. It's like this is competing for a lot, like with a lot of cards to be the best extra combat spell. Then it just says, what if you got one of the most relevant keywords for combat on top of it? I'm in. I'm playing this card. If I want an extra combat, this is the first card I am going to.
And if I want a website, Moxfield is the first website I'm going to. You can bookmark it, you can save it, you can delete all of the information on your computer so that whenever you open Google, the only website that comes up is Moxfield. You don't even you can set Moxfield to your default browser because it's the best way to sort, edit, create, and view deck lists on the internet.
You're not using the internet right. If when you go to your search bar and hit M, Moxfield doesn't come up because it should be coming up immediately. It should be
when you click the search bar, it should come up.
It literally, as soon as I click it, boom, it's there because I am literally on it daily, updating my decks, making new decks, doing tons of fun things. You know what's coming out tomorrow? We're doing an update for a friend for a deck. You can go see the updated deck on there, and if you're really observant, we often are moving and doing stuff on there live. You could see what deck we're going to be doing tomorrow as we speak.
Yes, you easily could. Moxfield, get on there or you're wasting your own time. Let's go to Deathrite Shaman. It's a $6 mana dork, but it's not just any mana dork because you're exiling cards from graveyards, so it's graveyard hate, it's life loss for your opponents, and it's life gain, and it's a mana dork. Basically a 1-mana planeswalker. One of the best creatures in Commander, actually. So I would pay attention to it.
Yeah, actually, recently I played this thing out. I announced it. I left it on the field. It was not hidden, and then I just like a friend made a plan like to go off like during the upkeep with Scarecrow. They had 2 activations, but they like, all right, activate once. I'm like, all right, try to need it, and he's like, oh, now I have to waste my whole turn just because I didn't see that amazing Deathrite Shaman on the battlefield. Mm-hmm. So it's just like. Just that little tiny blowout, like from this, was just took a whole turn away because
it's a mana dork. It's just doing dork. Extra stuff. It's like, oh, my opponents are getting a little bit low. End step, drain you for 2. Untap, drain you for 2. You've just dealt 12 damage.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman is just it. We know how silly good this card is. It's banned in Legacy. It's banned in Modern. It's obviously never going to be banned in Commander. It's not broken in that sense, but it is extremely powerful, and this card is so versatile.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman is. Don't leave it at home. If you've got fetch lands, if you've got mill, you got to play this card. It's so good.
Swiss Army knife. It's literally just a Swiss Army knife. Next, Bane of Progress. This card is $3, and that's shocking to me because it is one of the best ways in the entire format to wipe all artifacts and enchantments. In your creature heavy decks, which green often is, that doesn't need to rely on artifacts and enchantments, which most green decks don't, jam this in there and you'll feel amazing, especially if you have packages like Green Sun Zenith,
Court of Calling, Birthing Pod.
All of these. If you have,
Birthing Pod is about to go away, but that's okay because you want a Bane of Progress that bad.
I got to do my favorite thing I ever did with that exact line is I sacrificed my 5-drop, got Bane of Progress, and killed their Lich's Mastery. So they just lost. I'm like, I will gladly blow up my Birthing Pod to have the funniest death I've ever seen.
You know what else blows up Lich's Mastery? Freaking Druid of Purification. Just, oh my God, it's so good. It's better than Bane of Progress, and we're like hyped about Bane of Progress.
Bane of Progress is amazing. Druid of Purification is way better. It doesn't mean they're both not worth $3. I mean, the fact that they're the same price is mind-boggling, right?
Yeah, we're going to be like door-to-door salesmen / salespeople for Bane of Progress. For Druid of Purification.
Have you heard the good word of our Lord and Savior, Druid of Purification?
Heard the good news? 3 and a green.
Move on to the next one.
It's Heliod's Intervention. It's $3 also. We love our $3 cards. And it says you gain twice X life for X white. Don't do that unless you really have to. But the fact that you really have to, or sometimes really need to, is great. But really, you're destroying X artifacts and enchantments. So it's yet another way to destroy a bunch of enchantments and artifacts at once, none of which will be yours because I don't know what you're going to misclick and target your own stuff.
And let's just get some extra bonus points in your life gain decks where now, not only is it the destroy thing, it's also one of the best ways to just gain a ton of burst life out of nowhere.
Yeah, 5 mana is like, all right, I gained 6 life. Like, I might use that on something. Archangel of Thune, or like you have Lathiel. It's like, oh, distribute some counters. It's just like your random, like naturalize can't do that, okay? I don't want to think of another scalable naturalize because that's already hard enough to do.
Yes, this card is incredible. Like you said, gravy, literal gravy. Actually, I'm probably going to have to move. I'm realizing now there's a big card here that is saying, if I'm pointing to the gravy thing, I'm going to have to move the
I
card.
think you can handle that.
Okay. Editor
You actually already have.
Editor Joe. Yes, Editor Joe has done it. And gravy. That is Nitpicking Nerds' signature move, the gravy boat.
All right, name a white card, Joe, that
Flawless Maneuver.
That can be cast for free.
Flawless Maneuver. And Flawless Maneuver just got reprinted in Phyrexia All Will Be One Precons, which is an amazing reprint. First thing, thank you for that, Wizards. We appreciate that. Flawless Maneuver, absolutely amazing. It's 3 and a white. Your creatures gain indestructible, but if you control your commander, you can cast it.
It's 2 and a white, you fool.
For free. What did I say? 3 and a white?
3 and a white.
Yes.
Not that it matters.
It
It'd
is
be 10 and a white.
It really doesn't matter because you're almost always casting this card for free. It's free spells are amazing. This is just another amazing one. We told you to buy this last year when it was $13. Mm-hmm. And then it went all the way up to like $25, $30. And now the reprint has brought it back down to 10. Get it while you can, because if this doesn't get reprinted, it just stands to go up, 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 up.
Look, no offense, but we were pretty high on all of these free spells right away, and we stockpiled them. And I do not regret it because we still have a healthy supply of all of them that we're going to keep putting in decks until the end of eternity. But it's like now all the people who kind of missed out or like forgot or whatever or didn't buy those cards and feel bad about it, here's the first one that you can buy now for future decks or for decks you already have at a good price.
All right, we love to talk about lands on this channel, and this is a cycle of lands, some of the best lands ever printed, literally, in Magic the Gathering. It's the Shockland cycle, and you can get them anywhere from $10 to $19. The lowest is 10. The highest is 19.
These cards have historically been 20 to 30, and like quite a few of them are at 10. Hollow Fountain, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden, and Godless Shrine are all $10.
Yes, and that's absolutely incredible. Shocklands are literally auto-includes in every
deck, every power level.
Every deck, every power level, you're putting these in. It's, I guess, CDH, they start falling off a little bit because you play a lot more. You're playing the
duels and rainbows, but I think you still probably play shocks.
You play some shocks. What ends up happening in that is you play all the duels, and then you play the shocks of the.
I think it depends if you're playing 4 or 3 colors.
Yes, and also that's very, very fair. But
we're kind of getting lost in the sauce.
We are getting a little lost here because they're really, really good. If you have a deck in this color combination, you will play the land of the color combination.
You just are playing your Shockland, and now you can play it. Breeding Pool and Blood Crypt at 19. Those are like Pioneer, other formats influenced. The rest of them, yep, I'm in.
15 and lower, literally. Sacred Foundry and Steam Vents are at 15. Everything from there is 15 lower.
Yeah, Watery Grave and Overgrown Tomb are $12. This is just like give me them all. But we already bought them. I think when they were more expensive.
I'm pretty sure we own like 100 Shocklands.
We just had them for Modern and stuff. But if we didn't have them, guess what we'd be buying right now? Shocklands for all our decks.
Shocklands, get them. We bought them for way more than this.
Yeah,
just saying.
I still don't even feel bad.
And I don't feel remotely bad at all.
So it's like, here's an even better deal for you.
This is the classic. I love that we bought them when we did. And I'm even happier that, they're worth less now. That's fine because they're amazing cards.
I don't need my collection to be $1 million. If I wanted money, I would just sell my collection.
Yes. Take this next one. This next one is like you card.
I'll take it. It's Tortured Existence. It's $3, and you can discard a creature card for a black on your enchantment that costs a black, and then just get another creature card back. With Madness and high value bombs, this is easily the most annoying card in your entire deck. It's not fair. It's like it's going to end up being like this weird survival of the fittest knockoff. And if you don't kill it, you can't win the game.
Yeah, and you're talking about like those decks. This card is amazing without that.
Yep.
Because the simple fact of the matter is, like you said, it becomes like a survival knockoff. The best, most annoying creature in your deck that you have played and has gone to the graveyard will come back over and over and over again. Who cares that you have to keep recasting it? You discard whatever crap creature you drew. Oh, I drew a Solemn. I don't want that. I'll take my Archon of Cruelty back and I'll recast it over and over again. And you'll just repeat this process ad nauseum, and it's so frustrating and annoying. Like you said, you added Madness. Now you're casting the card you discarded.
Yeah, the card you get is like, oh, I'm going to cycle Archfiend of Ifnir, and then I'm going to bring it back and cast it. And now when I Tortured Existence, you lose the game.
It's silly. This is a very silly Magic card, and I'm actually shocked it's $3.
I think it was originally a common, and then it got a really good list reprint. So, like, this is a card that I don't know how the pricing of old commons works because it can be really wonky. This is a card I'm going to pick up all the copies I want now and just know that I'm going to be safe for later.
Yeah, completely fair. All right, and now This one, I like this one a lot because
It's
two, and they had gotten up, I believe, into the 50-60 range
Yep.
For a while, and a nice reprint has gotten them back down again from Double Masters 2 or whatever that was called. Double Masters 2 Electric Boogaloo.
2022 Electric Boogaloo.
2022 Electric Boogaloo. So Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, currently $22. Again, just got a reprint. And Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, currently $24. These are the big, giant Annihilator Alderazi's.
When people say Annihilator, they're only talking about these two cards.
Yes, these cards are absurd, actually. Like, I don't play them because I don't think they're fun again. Like, they're so good, I don't find the Annihilator ability fun.
I feel bad for my opponents.
If that's literally where I am at, where it's like, when I cast this and it stays in the battlefield for a turn, okay, and they both have cast triggers, so you cast them, get the value right away. Even if they counter it, you got something.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't counter it, hits the battlefield. Ulamog is stupid and indestructible. You're not getting that off the battlefield anytime soon.
Kozilek draws you 4 cards.
Exactly. You just get in with the. As soon as you attack with these, the players are losing. You don't win through Annihilator. You can, even when you're the token deck, you don't win through Annihilator.
I'm telling you, I play Artisan of Kozilek in a budget deck, and I've been attacked by Artisan of Kozilek. I don't want to sacrifice 2 things. And I'm always like, oh, I have to lose my token. Like, I don't want to. It's really bad for me.
Yeah, and these are 4.
Yeah,
both of them
this is
are
double that.
Annihilator.
How are you supposed to block them? Like, if you block it, it's basically Annihilator 5 now.
These cards, they're silly. They're both extremely silly Magic cards that are some of the best top ends in the entire format. When you go really, really big mana, like you're making the 10, 15, 20 mana, these are the best things. Maybe the best things you can be casting.
But they're actually both double-faced cards, because you can use Kozilek as a gigantic ramp payoff, you lose the game on turn 5, or you can use Kozilek as a weird 0-mana sorcery that says when I discard it, I shuffle my deck back in, and now I can loop through my deck again.
Never forget
like,
that.
Other cards don't even do that. This is like, they function so differently than Magic cards usually do that they're just amazing.
Yeah, these two, that is such a valuable point to these cards. They're the only 2 cards that, like, when they're discarded or when they go to your graveyard from anywhere, they trigger to shuffle your library.
The whole graveyard back in.
Which is not something you can get anywhere else. So they actually function as combo pieces, like that.
Uncastable combo piece.
Which is so strange to think about, where you need to do like a Mind Over Matter loop. Okay, add this in. Now your loop never has to stop.
Yeah, some Niv Mizzet loops, some Get Rog Monster loops need these cards. It's just amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
You know what else is amazing?
Us.
Last month's video, we talked about the cards that were most worth buying. Guarantee most of them are still most worth buying. So guess what? Don't even think about what I said and go watch the video.
Our intros are our X. Yep.
Aha.
Everything's getting better than the Nitpicking Nerds. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.